Chapter 434, Chapter 247, Tier 3 Divine Sense, the Zhou family's request. Li Chang'an did not consume it immediately. He placed the blood fire soul refining flower to one side, circulated his cultivation technique, and adjusted his state. 7 days later, his essence, qi, and spirit have been adjusted to their peak. Who? Li Chang'an slowly exhaled. He ordered Ziohai and Dawang to guard the cave abode, and activated the 5 elements life-generating array to its strongest state to prevent anyone from trespassing on the mountain while he was in seclusion. Afterward, he swallowed a Tier 3 elixir that calmed the heart and pacified the mind. He instantly entered a state of perfect tranquility. It's time. With a calm expression, Li Chang'an swallowed the entire blood fire soul refining flower in one gulp. In an instant, potent medicinal power erupted within his body. An intense burning sensation arose, as if a raging inferno was using his very flesh and bone as fuel. It burned with increasing ferocity, finally rushing straight into his sea of consciousness. An instant later, his entire sea of consciousness felt as if it had burst into flames. Li Chang'an's expression remained unchanged. He was perfectly composed. According to the ancient texts, this unbearable searing heat was the normal reaction to consuming the blood fire soul refining flower. My divine sense is growing. Li Chang'an noted the subtle change. At first, the growth was faint and slow, but it accelerated as time went on. Amid the searing pain, his divine sense steadily grew, gradually approaching the next tier. About a quarter of an hour later, the burning sensation began to fade, and the growth of his divine sense slowed in tandem, though it was now closer than ever to the next tier. As the last wisp of medicinal power was absorbed, Li Chang'an's entire body shuddered. The power of divine sense in his sea of consciousness formed a brilliant golden vortex, converging frenetically toward the center. Finally, a resplendent golden orb appeared in the center of his sea of consciousness. This was the hallmark of one's divine sense, breaking through to Tier 3. Divine Sense Condensation Pill. This process was similar to magic power core formation, which typically occurs when a foundation establishment cultivator breaks through to the core formation realm. However, Li Chang'an had reached this stage early. At this point, his divine sense had officially reached Tier 3, comparable to a fake pill cultivator. With a Tier 3 divine sense, I might be able to make another breakthrough in my skills, like alchemy and the art of talismans. Li Chang'an mused. He did not rush to test it. Instead, he remained seated cross-legged, solidifying the state of his divine sense. He only ended his seclusion a full month later. Li Chang'an entered the alchemy room and started refining pills. He easily produced a Tier 3 low-grade elixir. Next, he attempted to refine a Tier 3 middle-grade elixir. But he still failed. However, while this attempt was a failure, he was much closer to success. My alchemy skill. If I hone it for a while longer, I should be able to refine a Tier 3 middle-grade elixir. Li Chang'an had a good mindset and was in no rush. He then tested his talisman painting and array Dao skill. He was still unable to reach the Tier 3 middle-grade level in either, but he had made a great leap forward. A breakthrough is only a matter of time. Just then, Xianxia suddenly sought him out. Elder Li, my injuries have fully healed, and my magical power has also improved considerably. I plan to go out and search for the other Zhou clan members. All right. Li Chang'an gave her a few words of caution and gifted her several life-saving Tier 3 talismans. In the days that followed, Xianxia would periodically leave Chang'an Mountain, occasionally returning with new injuries. Periodically, she would update Li Chang'an on her progress in finding her kinsmen. About half a year later, Zhou Sheng came to Chang'an Mountain in secret to meet with Li Chang'an. Years had passed since they last met. Zhou Sheng looked weather-beaten and careworn. He was no longer the ruddy-faced, portly middle-aged man of the past. The weight of the years had settled heavily upon him. Taoist Li, thank you for taking in Xianxia. Zhou Sheng bowed deeply, giving his sincere thanks. This bow was not just for taking in Xianxia. It was also to thank him for his warning all those years ago. If not for that warning, perhaps both Zhou Sheng and Xianxia would have already become puppets controlled by the demon beasts. All things considered, Li Chang'an had done the Zhou family a great service. He had given the Zhou family a chance to turn the tables. Taoist Zhou, how is the Zhou family situation now? Alas, I have gathered many of our scattered clan members, but we still haven't found the previous patriarch, Zhou Yian. I have no idea where he could be." Zhou Sheng sighed, his face etched with worry. The half-restriction that the old patriarch bears is the Zhou family's only hope of dealing with the old demon king. Yet there was still no sign of him. Zhou Sheng's purpose in coming was to ask Li Chang'an to visit their temporary hideout and use an illusion-breaking treasure to examine the gathered Zhou clan members. He suspected that some of the gathered Zhou clan members had already fallen under the control of the demon beasts. The demon beasts were biding their time, waiting for them to find the old patriarch before catching them all in a single net. "Taoist Li, you must possess a remarkable illusion-breaking treasure. I beg you, please help me one more time. If the Zhou family can reclaim our ancestral lands, you will be our most honored guest. You may choose any treasure you wish from our treasure vault." Zhou Sheng's tone was sincere as he made his promise. He already possessed the cultivation of the late stage of foundation establishment. Furthermore, the Zhou clan members who were not under the demon beast's control had all elected him as the acting patriarch. A promise from him was as good as a promise from the Zhou family itself. "Choose any treasure from the treasure vault." Li Chang'an pondered for a moment. "Taoist Zhou, I fear that any of the better treasures in the Zhou family's treasure vault have already been claimed by that old demon king." That? A look of embarrassment crossed Zhou Sheng's face. He had nothing to offer. Trying to get Li Chang'an's help with just a promise, especially when the promised reward was likely gone, was no different than trying to get something for nothing. A moment later, he gritted his teeth, took out a jade scroll from his storage pouch, and handed it to Li Chang'an. "Taoist Li, our Zhou family's Tier 3 spiritual land is still there, and our Tier 3 beast-taming legacy remains within this jade scroll." Chapter 435, Chapter 247, Tier 3 Divine Sense, the Zhou family's request. It was the Zhou family's Tier 3 middle-grade beast-taming legacy. A legacy like this was enough to ensure the prosperity of a golden core clan. In the past, the Zhou family would never have given it to an outsider, but now they were on the brink of collapse, and it was questionable whether they could even preserve their line. "Taoist Li, please accept this legacy." "All right." Li Chang'an nodded slightly and took the jade scroll. He refined it, sent a wisp of his divine sense inside, and casually browsed its contents. It was indeed a Tier 3 beast-taming legacy. It contained chapters on the profound water turtle and the yellow sand dog. "It will be of some help to me." Zhou Sheng added, "Taoist Li, if you succeed, you can also freely use the Zhou family's Tier 3 spirit vein. Whether it's for your own breakthrough to core formation or for your descendants or spirit beasts to break through, you can use our family's spirit vein. What do you say?" "All right, I agree." Li Chang'an didn't refuse this time, agreeing on the spot. This was an offer full of sincerity. According to what Zhou Sheng said, the entire Zhou family spirit vein would practically be Li Chang'an's semi-personal cultivation ground. "I was just worrying about not having a suitable Tier 3 spirit vein for my core formation breakthrough. After all, it's impossible for me to do it in Yellow Crane Immortal City." Originally, he had planned to use the Mo family spirit vein for his breakthrough. But now, he had another option. Of course, all of this was contingent on Zhou Sheng and his people regaining control of the Zhou family. "Taoist Zhou, take me to your hiding place." "Of course, Taoist Li, please follow me." Zhou Sheng breathed a sigh of relief. He knew Li Chang'an's strength was far greater than what it seemed on the surface. With Li Chang'an on board, the Zhou family's chances of success would increase significantly. The two transformed into streaks of spiritual light, leaving Chang'an Mountain one after the other. Before long, they entered the Black Dragon Mountain range. Along the way, Zhou Sheng explained that to evade pursuit from the Zhou family's demon beasts, they had hidden directly inside the ancient wood secret realm. Soon, the two entered the ancient wood secret realm, avoiding one dangerous area after another as they ventured deeper inside. Finally, Zhou Sheng stopped beneath a seemingly ordinary cliff. He formed a hand seal and cast a spell of magic, causing a cave entrance to immediately appear at the base of the cliff. "Taoist Li, this is the place. Please follow me." Zhou Sheng went inside, leading the way for Li Chang'an. Before long, the two arrived in a relatively spacious underground world. Zhou Sheng explained that this was an abandoned ancient cave mansion he had stumbled upon during a treasure hunt. It now served as the temporary hiding place for the Zhou clan members. Several hundred Zhou clan members were living here. Taoist Li, please use your illusion-breaking treasure to check their bodies for any traces of demon qi. All right. Li Chang'an immediately used the refining shadow invisible technique. His body and aura vanished, as if he had never been there at all. Holding the stone eye, he passed by the resting places of the Zhou clan members, observing them one by one. During this time, none of the Zhou clan members sensed his presence. Before long, Li Chang'an had finished his investigation. Among the several hundred Zhou clan members, more than 30 had demon qi in their bodies. However, they showed no abnormalities and continued to eat and live alongside the other members of the clan. There are that many. After learning the results, Zhou Sheng was genuinely shocked. He had thought there were only 2 or 3 infiltrators at most. Li Chang'an nodded and asked, Taoist Zhou, do you have a way to purge the demon qi from their bodies? This is troublesome, for now all I can do is restrain them. Zhou Sheng acted at once, restraining the more than 30 clan disciples and throwing them all into a spirit beast bag to cut off their perception of the outside world. What happened next was no longer Li Chang'an's concern. Knowing this location was now compromised, Zhou Sheng moved the remaining clan members to a safer, more hidden location. Meanwhile, Li Chang'an returned to Chang'an Mountain. In the days that followed, Zhou Sheng would visit Chang'an Mountain from time to time, almost always bringing a new Zhou clan member for Li Chang'an to check for demon qi. Time flew, and a year passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, a shocking piece of news spread from within the ancient sect ruins. Deep within the ancient sect ruins, while vying for a nascent soul opportunity, Huang He Master was caught in a trap. Gravely injured, he flew back to Yellow Crane Immortal City overnight to recuperate. Someone saw that Huang He Master was covered in blood, his aura weak, with only half his body remaining. This news soon reached Li Chang'an. Li Chang'an read it over carefully, not missing a single detail. Only half his body remaining. If the news is true, then Huang He Master is indeed severely injured. With Huang He Master's power, it wouldn't be difficult for him to obtain some treasure medicine for flesh regeneration. But a full recovery would undoubtedly take a considerable amount of time. This is good news. The more trouble Huang He Master encounters, and the more time he wastes, the lower his chances of breaking through to the nascent soul realm will be. Naturally, Li Chang'an hoped he would get severely injured a few more times. In the following days, more news arrived. Some reports claimed that Huang He Master hadn't been injured by a trap, but was ambushed by a joint force of golden core cultivators from the 3 great sects. This was supposedly because he himself had ambushed cultivators from the 3 great sects in the past. However, the 3 great sects quickly refuted these rumors, each declaring their friendly relationship with Yellow Crane Immortal City and even sending envoys to present healing treasure medicines. A few more days later, the Cyan Cloud sect suddenly announced that they would be holding a grand auction in Yellow Crane Immortal City. As they were borrowing the Immortal City's venue, disciples of the Yellow Crane mountain lineage would be given advance notice of some of the auction items. Anyone could see that the Cyan Cloud sect was making a gesture of goodwill toward Yellow Crane Immortal City. Huang He Master is so powerful that the 3 great sects all want to win him over, completely disregarding his past ambushes. Chapter 436, Chapter 247, Tier 3 Divine Sense, the Zhou family's request. After hearing this news, Li Chang'an made his assessment. After all, Huang He Master possessed a late stage of golden core cultivation, placing him at the very pinnacle of the southern domain cultivation immortality realm. To put it into perspective, even sects with 1,000-year-long legacies like the 10,000 Swords sect and the Red Flame sect each had only a single late stage of golden core cultivator. Not long after, several invitations to the auction were delivered to Chang'an Mountain. Li Chang'an, Zhang Muyu, and Luo Yunshu each received one, and they were all for esteemed private rooms. The auction is set for half a month from now. Sir, will you be going? Zhang Muyu, dressed in a long aqua blue gown, came looking for Li Chang'an with her invitation in hand. Li Chang'an shook his head slightly. I'm not interested. I prefer peace and quiet, so you should just go by yourself. All right. Looking a little disappointed, Zhang Muyu turned and left. Li Chang'an tossed the invitation aside. He would, of course, be going, but not as himself. After all, both Xianxia and Zaihu Hong wanted him dead. Attending the auction would be no different from walking into a trap. The next day, Chang'an used a false identity to buy an ordinary invitation in the black market. While he was there, he also gathered information about the items up for auction. "Friend, I heard the Cyan Cloud sect is offering a lot of good things this time." "Yeah, I heard that too. Rumor has it there are several types of core formation treasures." Many people in the black market were discussing it. The very words core formation struck a chord with many foundation establishment cultivators. In the following days, Chang'an took on various identities, frequenting shops in both Yellow Crane Immortal City and the black market. He sold off a number of treasures, and the spirit stones in his storage pouch piled up high as a mountain. He was, of course, doing all this to prepare for the auction. There might be an even better core formation spiritual object. By the time it appears, it'll be too late to scrape together the spirit stones. Core formation treasures were always paid for with middle-grade spirit stones. After all, even golden core masters would be tempted by such treasures. For this auction, Chang'an had prepared a full 60,000 middle-grade spirit stones. This terrifying fortune was a sum that the vast majority of foundation establishment cultivators could only dream of, and it was enough to compete with golden core masters for treasures. That should be enough. He let out a long sigh of relief. Now, all that was left was to wait for the auction to begin. Time flew by, and soon only one day remained until the auction. That evening, Chang'an had an epiphany, and his skill in the Tao of Arrays broke through to Tier 3 middle grade. "I didn't expect my skill in arrays would be the first to break through." Chang'an was somewhat surprised. He had thought his alchemy skill would be the first to break through. He then used a large number of treasures to upgrade the tier of the 5 elements life-generating array, raising all 5 grand arrays to Tier 3 middle grade. When stacked and interlinked, their combined power faintly approached Tier 3 top grade. "Good, Chang'an Mountain is much safer now." Chang'an nodded slightly, very satisfied. At that moment the time reached midnight. A golden light materialized before his eyes. Divination has been refreshed. Today's divination, Auspicious. You will attend the Yellow Crane Immortal City auction and purchase the corpse of an ancient demon beast. Inside, you will unexpectedly discover a complete quasi-tier 4 treasure, the Beast Taming Wheel. This treasure belongs to the ancient beast taming sect. The beast taming wheel. Chang'an was inwardly surprised. He had heard of this kind of treasure during his dreamlike return to the ancient past. The beast taming sect was also one of the 9 great sects. The sect possessed many spells and treasures designed specifically to counter demon beasts, and the beast taming wheel was one of its most famous. This type of treasure had a suppressive effect and was an extreme counter to demon beasts. To think a complete beast taming wheel has been preserved to this day, and it has even reached the quasi-tier 4 level. Chang'an was delighted. This treasure is perfect for dealing with the Zhou family's Tier 3 old beast king. The next day before dawn, the entirety of Yellow Crane Immortal City was already bustling with excitement. Streaks of light tore across the sky as cultivators rushed from all corners of the land, descending upon the auction house in Yellow Crane Immortal City. Chang'an had arrived at Yellow Crane Immortal City early, but he didn't enter the auction house as himself. Instead, he had summoned Nai Ting from the 10,000 Swords sect. He put a disguise on Nai Ting and had him enter the auction using the invitation purchased from the black market. Quite a few people had already arrived before him. As far as the eye could see, the place was a bustling sea of countless cultivators. Chang'an took his seat and waited quietly for the auction to begin. Before long, the 3 great sects and the 7 great noble families arrived one after another. Cultivators from the various foundation establishment and chi refining influences, along with numerous loose cultivators, also arrived in succession. The entire auction hall was a cacophony of voices, filled with a rising clamor. Roughly an hour later, the auction officially began. A figure exuding the aura of the middle stage of foundation establishment appeared on the stage up front. The person hosting the auction was, as expected, a disciple of Huang He Master, but it was no longer the 6th disciple, Sima Rui. Instead, it was the 8th disciple, Bai Hao. He dispensed with the pleasantries, directly motioning for 2 attendants to carry out an item covered by a red cloth. "Everyone please look. This is the first item up for auction." As he spoke, he whisked away the red cloth. Beneath the red cloth lay a treasure that was pure, lustrous white and shone brilliantly, like a perfect pearl. The moment this treasure appeared, the entire auction hall erupted. The moonlight condensed pearl. It's a core formation spiritual object. This item appeared on the contribution rewards list during the Beast Tide. I was so close to having enough points back then, I thought I'd never see it again. Countless people in the audience grew excited, their eyes gleaming as they stared intently at the moonlight condensed pearl. If this weren't an auction, it was likely that more than a few people would have tried to snatch it on the spot. "So it's this treasure?" Chang'an's gaze sharpened as he looked at the moonlight condensed pearl. He remained relatively calm. After all, the moonlight condensed pearl only increased the success rate by 5%, and its effects couldn't be stacked with other core formation spiritual objects. And since he already possessed a portion of profound jade marrow, he had no need for it. Soon Baihao announced the starting price. Unsurprisingly, bids for this type of core formation treasure could only be placed in middle-grade spirit stones. The starting price was 2,000 middle-grade spirit stones, with a minimum bid increment of 100. 2,000 middle-grade spirit stones was no small sum. Converted into low-grade spirit stones, it was a full 200,000. The starting price alone was enough to bar many foundation establishment cultivators from even bidding. Why is it so high? Many foundation establishment cultivators instantly deflated, their faces filled with disappointment. Chang'an, however, didn't think so. "It's actually quite cheap." Chapter 437, Chapter 248, Treasure Acquired and a Pleasant Surprise. The starting bid for the moonlight condensed pearl was a little lower than Chang'an had expected. However, the subsequent competition was far more intense than he had anticipated. Various parties began to call out their bids. There were independent practitioner foundation establishments, foundation establishment ancestors from various foundation establishment influences, and even foundation establishment cultivators from golden core influences, all vying for it. In the end, the treasure sold for a price of 6,200 middle-grade spirit stones. It was bought by a foundation establishment peak cultivator from the Xianxia sect. The man looked incredibly relieved. He probably doesn't have many spirit stones left in his storage pouch. The second auction item that followed, while not of the same quality as the moonlight condensed pearl, still caused quite a stir. The second lot is 10 foundation establishment pills, 2 of which are high-quality foundation establishment pills. Baihao stood on the stage, patiently introducing them. Chang'an was slightly surprised, only because he detected a familiar aura. A few of the foundation establishment pills were the very ones he had sold. Would have thought they would end up at an auction in Yellow Crane, Immortal City. The bidding for the foundation establishment pills could be done in low-grade spirit stones, and the final transaction price was much higher than what Chang'an had originally sold them for. These guys really made a killing on the price difference, Chang'an thought to himself. There was nothing to be done about it. His own strength was insufficient. He lacked the ability to host such a high-profile auction. Once he broke through to the golden core realm in the future, he would have the strength and qualifications to hold this kind of auction. Afterward, auction items were brought before the crowd one after another. The vast majority of treasures could be bid on with low-grade spirit stones. Only a few that had reached Tier 3 could only be bid on with middle-grade spirit stones. During this time, Chang'an bid several times, purchasing some primary ingredients for refining foundation establishment pills and some auxiliary medicines for refining the 5 elements golden condensation pill. About 4 hours later, a desiccated demon beast corpse, grayish-white all over and about 65 feet long, appeared on the auction stage. Baihao introduced it. "Everyone, this item is the carcass of a Tier 3 purple cloud lion. A senior from the Cloud sect excavated it from the ancient wood secret realm. Although its flesh and blood essence have been lost and its demon core has been removed, its Tier 3 demon bones are still a rare material." Below the stage, Chang'an's gaze narrowed as he sized up the purple cloud lion's carcass. The ancient demon corpse shown in the divination was likely this purple cloud lion. Of course, there might be other demon corpses. Chang'an couldn't be certain, so he could only decide to buy it for now. Soon Baihao announced the starting price. 1,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Each bid must be an increment of no less than 100 middle-grade spirit stones. The price was not high. The value of this carcass couldn't compare to a fresh Tier 3 demon corpse, as it had few usable materials left. 1,100 middle-grade spirit stones. Someone quickly called a bid. After him, someone else made a bid. 1,200 middle-grade spirit stones. 1,300. There weren't many people bidding, only a handful. Those who could use Tier 3 demon corpse materials were almost all esteemed seniors whose skills in a particular field had reached Tier 3. There were very few such individuals in the entire southern domain cultivation immortality realm. Soon, Chang'an joined the bidding as well. In the end, he won the Tier 3 demon corpse for a price of 2,800 middle-grade spirit stones. Not bad, the price is reasonable. Chang'an looked relaxed. The price had not exceeded his expectations. Not long after, a server hurried over and presented him with a storage pouch containing the demon corpse. Chang'an, in turn, handed over a storage pouch filled with spirit stones. The exchange was made, the deal complete. The server secretly sent a sound transmission. You have made several consecutive purchases and may have been targeted. When the auction concludes, you may leave through one of Yellow Crane Immortal City's secret passages. All right. Chang'an nodded slightly. He was aware of this custom. The auction continued. For the next 3 days, all sorts of treasures were brought onto the stage like a flowing river, where they were bid on by the crowd. During this period, a few more demon corpses appeared. They weren't excavated from an ancient secret realm, but Chang'an bought them all anyway. In addition, he also bought some miscellaneous demon beast flesh and blood. Most of the other auction items were ordinary, and he paid them little mind. However, one Tier 3, low-grade array-breaking treasure caught his attention. Only because the person who bought this array-breaking treasure was Xianxia. Is this guy buying an array-breaking treasure to use against me? Chang'an pondered, feeling it was highly likely. Fortunately, his array skill had already advanced to Tier 3 middle grade, so this treasure was useless against him. Before he knew it, the grand auction was coming to an end. Among the last few lots, another core formation spiritual object appeared. But it could only increase the success rate by 10% at most. Chang'an still didn't bid, merely watching in silence. A moment later, the second-to-last feature item was brought out. Everyone, this item is also a core formation treasure. Bai Hao didn't waste words and directly pulled off the red cloth. What appeared before everyone was a treasure that was deep yellow all over and shimmered with a faint fluorescent light. Upon seeing this item, Chang'an immediately sat up straight. This feature item was, shockingly, one of the 5 primary ingredients for the 5 elements golden condensation pill. It was also the last primary ingredient that Chang'an had been searching for. Profound yellow earth. The many cultivators below the stage all had excited expressions. It's profound yellow earth. This portion of profound yellow earth is quite substantial. It's enough to attempt refining the 5 elements golden condensation pill twice, allowing for 1 failure. The Cyan Cloud sect is truly generous, willing to part with such a precious treasure. Before this, no news about it had leaked out. Even Chang'an hadn't expected to see profound yellow earth at this auction. His expression turned serious as he made up his mind. I must get my hands on this profound yellow earth. If he missed this chance, there was no telling when he might find another piece. Everyone, I don't need to elaborate on how precious this item is. The starting bid is 5,000 middle-grade spirit stones, and each increment must be no less than 100 middle-grade spirit stones. Chapter 438, Chapter 248, Treasure in Hand, a Pleasant Surprise. Bai Hao's voice boomed as he announced the starting price. The words had barely left his mouth when someone immediately shouted a bid. 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones. This price shocked quite a few people. The opening bid had already doubled the price. How extravagant! Chang'an followed the sound of the voice and saw it was a Foundation Establishment race member from the Mu family. Although the price of 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones was high, it wasn't enough to deter everyone. Soon, a flurry of bids rang out from all around. The price rose steadily, gradually reaching 12,000 spirit stones. The number of bidders had dwindled considerably. It was then that Chang'an joined the bidding. 13,000 spirit stones. 13,300. As the price rose, the bidding voices became fewer and fewer. After all, this item was just one of the main ingredients for the 5 elements golden condensation pill, not a complete gold condensing pill. It wasn't worth losing one's senses over it. In the end, only 2 people were left bidding. Chang'an was, of course, one of them. The other was an old acquaintance of his, Xianxia. 16,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Xianxia bid again, his expression souring. Because Chang'an refused to back down, the current price had already exceeded what he was willing to pay. Chang'an bid again, 17,000 middle-grade spirit stones. He had raised the bid by 1,000 middle-grade spirit stones in one go. Upon hearing this bid, Xianxia's expression grew even uglier. He secretly sent a sound transmission. Fellow Taoist, this portion of profound yellow earth isn't large. Why must you be so insistent? If you let me have it, I'll owe you a favor. But a foundation establishment cultivator couldn't possibly produce so many middle-grade spirit stones. He's most likely a golden core cultivator, too. Chang'an replied coolly. Fellow Taoist, this is an auction. We should follow the rules. You? A flicker of anger ignited in Xianxia's heart, and he memorized the aura of Chang'an's body. Then he shouted another bid, 18,000 middle-grade spirit stones. 20,000. Chang'an's tone remained indifferent, betraying no emotion. He had plenty of resources left. He could easily keep going. He could bet his entire fortune, and it wouldn't be a problem. Xianxia was a golden core master, after all, so the spirit stones in his storage pouch certainly amounted to more than this. However, he lacked any outstanding cultivation immortality techniques and had to be frugal with his spirit stones. He couldn't possibly spend too much on a single portion of profound yellow earth. Based on the tones of the 2 bidders, many in the audience had already made their judgment. The profound yellow earth would most likely end up in Chang'an's storage pouch. Even Chang'an himself thought so. However, an unforeseen event suddenly interrupted the bidding. From a private room at the auction, an old voice suddenly rang out. I am Liang Chang of the Cyan Cloud sect. This profound yellow earth is mine. Since you 2 fellow Taoists both want it, you can each give me 5,000 middle-grade spirit stones. You'll each get half, and we won't have to damage our friendly relations. What do you 2 think? Hearing this, Xianxia, who had been about to bid again, froze. Half for each of us. That piece of profound yellow earth was the exact amount needed for 2 refining attempts. If it were split, they would each only have 1 chance at the alchemy. That's a bit risky. If one attempt failed, there would be no backup material. But if I disagree and we keep fighting like this, I'm afraid the price will become astronomical. After a moment's thought, Xianxia cupped his hands toward Liang Chang. Taoist Liang, I have no objection, but I fear the other fellow Taoist will not agree. The words had barely left his mouth when Chang'an's voice followed. Taoist Liang, I have no objection either. Since things have come to this, I don't want to fight over it anymore. I'm just afraid of stirring up more trouble. Getting 1 portion is already pretty good. Good, you 2 fellow Taoists are indeed reasonable people. Liang Chang laughed heartily and sent out a burst of magical power. The piece of profound yellow earth was instantly split in 2. Imbued with his early stage of golden core magical power, the halves flew toward Chang'an and Xianxia at the same time. Xianxia caught his piece steadily. Chang'an did likewise, neutralizing the golden core power on the profound yellow earth without revealing anything unusual. This man really is a golden core cultivator. I just don't know which one. Why is he hiding his identity? Could he be from the Western domain? Xianxia sized him up, thinking to himself. Many others in the crowd were, like him, speculating about Chang'an's identity. The golden core cultivators of the southern domain were a known quantity. Every one of them was famous, and there was no need to hide their identities. Chang'an put away the profound yellow earth and cupped his hands toward Liang Chang in the private room. Many thanks, Taoist Liang. With that said, he tossed out a storage pouch containing exactly 5,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Liang Chang caught the storage pouch and said with a smile, Fellow Taoist, if you have the time, feel free to come to the Cyan Cloud sect for some tea. All right. Chang'an said no more and returned to his seat. At this point, He had gathered all 5 ingredients for the 5 elements golden condensation pill. It's just that the amount of profound yellow earth is a bit small, enough for only one refining attempt. The other 4 ingredients are plentiful enough for multiple attempts. If I can get my hands on Xianxia's portion, I'll have another chance. At this thought, killing intent surged within Chang'an. Now isn't the right time to make a move, he knew. I have to wait patiently for the right opportunity. Xianxia is a true pill cultivator after all, not a fake pill like Niting. I can't be hasty. Chang'an suppressed his killing intent and quietly waited for the auction to end. After the commotion, the final item of the auction was brought before the crowd. This is... Chang'an's eyes narrowed, and he stared at the item with a growing sense of confusion. The item looked far too ordinary. It was just a single, lonely tea leaf. Like him, almost everyone else present could see nothing special about the tea leaf. Chapter 439, Chapter 248, Treasure Acquired, a Pleasant Surprise. At that moment, Liang Cheng's aged laughter rang out. This item is also something of mine. It's called Spiritual Enlightenment Tea and can temporarily enhance one's comprehension. Hearing this, everyone's faces lit with understanding, which was quickly followed by shock. It's actually spiritual enlightenment tea. I've heard this tea was a rare treasure even back in the ancient times. A single leaf can boost your comprehension for an entire hour. Chang'an was also surprised. To think Liang Cheng would be willing to auction off a treasure that enhances comprehension. An hour might be brief, but it could change a person's entire life. Next, the sounds of bidding rose and fell, one after another, filling the air. The various golden core influences all joined the bidding war. Chang'an just watched quietly. He already had the 3-orifice Bodhi seed, so there was no need for him to compete for this tea leaf. After all, the tea's effect was a one-time use. Once brewed, it was gone. But the 3-orifice Bodhi seed could accumulate spiritual energy, allowing him to gain a quarter of an hour of use each year. In the end, a golden core master from the Dan Valley Zio family bought the tea leaf for the sky-high price of a full 120,000 middle-grade spirit stones. As expected of an alchemy family, their pockets run deep. Chang'an glanced at the golden core master and saw that he remained calm and composed, as if he still had plenty of spirit stones left in his storage pouch. And just like that, the grand auction came to an end. The various parties began to leave. Chang'an didn't take the secret passages of Yellow Crane Immortal City. After all, he'd had a dispute with Xianxia and feared the man might try something treacherous. He flew directly out of the auction house without any concealment and left Yellow Crane Immortal City. During this time, members of the 3 great sects and the 7 great clans all sent him sound transmissions, inviting him to be a guest. Chang'an responded to each of them in turn, before transforming into a streak of spiritual light and departing. Back outside the auction house, Xianxia stared in the direction Chang'an had left, his expression flickering with uncertainty. Zai Huhang asked, "Senior brother, should we intercept and kill him? If we 2 martial brothers join forces and call on Masters Huanghe, we should be able to take him down." "No, this person's origins are mysterious. I fear he might be a demonic golden core. Let him go." Xianxia shook his head slightly. Although he wanted to kill Chang'an, he wasn't willing to take a risk on something he wasn't certain of. Chang'an left smoothly with his treasures. He was a little surprised. To think no one tried to ambush me. One must know, he had made several big purchases at the auction, making it obvious he was wealthy. In the past, he would have been stopped by ambushers long ago. But this time, no one made a move. The status of a golden core cultivator is certainly useful. Chang'an smiled, took the storage pouch from Niting's hand, and directed Niting to return to the 10,000 Swords sect. He himself returned to Chang'an Mountain. Next, he took out the numerous demon beast carcasses, along with their flesh and blood, from the storage pouch. That quasi-tier 4 beast taming wheel should be somewhere among all this flesh and these carcasses. Chang'an immediately got to work, shattering the flesh and carcasses. Soon, the rest of the flesh and carcasses were reduced to a pile of fragments, which the evergreen vine dragged away for nourishment. Only the desiccated corpse of the Tier 3 purple cloud lion remained. This corpse was particularly sturdy, comparable to Tier 3 body refinement expert. Chang'an had trouble dealing with it, so he had no choice but to take out the venerable soul banner. Evil soul, come out. Coming, what are your orders, old master? Help me process this demon corpse. You got it. With the evil soul's help, Chang'an quickly processed the entire demon corpse into small pieces of material. Finally, inside the purple cloud lion's skull, Chang'an found the treasure mentioned in the divination. The beast-taming wheel. His eyes lit up, and he immediately took it out. The treasure was a dark golden ring, shaped like a collar. It felt incredibly heavy in his hand. Its surface was engraved with the images of countless demon beasts, each one wearing a look of terror. Holding it, he could faintly hear the wails of demon beasts. It was as if countless demon souls were trapped within, unable to escape. If I remember correctly, this beast-taming wheel can be controlled using both magical power and divine sense simultaneously. With a thought, Chang'an attempted to begin its refinement. However, he soon felt immense resistance. The beast-taming wheel was a quasi-tier 4 treasure, and he was currently just a foundation establishment cultivator, making the refinement process incredibly difficult. Having no other choice, Chang'an had to call over the profound water turtle and enter the borrowed state. Human-turtle unity. Together, they began the refinement of the beast-taming wheel. Chang'an noticed that, when facing the beast-taming wheel, the profound water turtle showed a trace of fear and seemed to be faintly suppressed. Worthy of a treasure from the beast-taming sect, it can even suppress an earth-grade bloodline demon beast like the profound water turtle. He grew even more satisfied with this treasure and continued the refinement. At his current pace, he would be able to refine it completely in about another month. Meanwhile, Niting, still under Chang'an's control, had already returned to the 10,000 Swords sect. He was about to return to his cultivator's estate when he suddenly ran into Niu. Niu's brow furrowed slightly as he asked, I sent you to kill Chang'an. Why has it been so long with no news? Did you run into trouble? Adoptive father, that Chang'an has been hiding away in his Tier 3 grand array. I'm completely at a loss, unless we can find someone to break his array. Forget it, it was my oversight. Come with me to see Master Du and ask him to take action. Yes. The two of them, one in front of the other, headed for the cultivator's estate of the Tier 3 array master, Du Han. Before long, they arrived outside the estate. Taoist Du, I am Niu. I have a favor to ask. Taoist Nai. The gate to the estate slowly opened. Du Han walked out with a smile and welcomed the two of them inside. He served spirit tea and spirit fruits before asking his question. Taoist Nai, I wonder what matter brings you here. I just wish to ask you, Taoist Du, to break a Tier 3 low-grade array. Once it's done, I will reward you generously. Tier 3 low-grade, that's a simple matter. The smile on Du Han's face grew wider. He had broken countless arrays of that tier. Hearing this, Niu felt a great sense of relief. Excellent, in that case, please accompany me to Chang'an Mountain, Taoist Du. What Chang'an Mountain? The smile on Du Han's face instantly froze. Chapter 440. Chapter 249. A plot against the Demon King, a letter from a departed friend. Du Han never imagined that Niu would also ask him to break the Chang'an Mountain array. The last failure was still fresh in his mind. To this day, he still remembered the feeling of taking a trip to the gates of Yama Hall. He had no desire to go back a second time. Taoist Nai, I'm afraid I'm powerless in this matter. You'd best find someone more capable. Taoist Du, why is that? Niu frowned, noticing the subtle shift in Du Han's expression. Du Han sighed. The Chang'an Mountain array is no ordinary Tier 3 low-grade array. Taoist Nai, if you want to hire someone to break it, you'd best hire a Tier 3 middle-grade array master, like Mu Yan from the Red Flame sect. Hearing this, how could Niu not understand? Du Han had clearly already tried to break the Chang'an Mountain array, and he had failed. Taoist Du, the array on Chang'an Mountain was actually able to render you helpless. That's right, I nearly lost my life there. Du Han let out a long sigh. Upon hearing this, Niu fell silent for a moment. He didn't ask any more questions. In the end, he simply cupped his hands in salute and left with Niting. Come with me to the Red Flame sect to hire Mu Yan. Yes. Chang'an, controlling Niting's body, nodded and left the 10,000 Swords sect with him. However, just as the two arrived at the Red Flame sect, they learned that Mu Yan had already been hired away by Xianxia of Yellow Crane Immortal City. On Chang'an Mountain, Li Chang'an was in the process of refining the beast-taming wheel. Upon learning that Mu Yan had been hired by Xianxia, a premonition immediately surfaced in his mind. He's most likely coming for me. Li Chang'an's expression remained calm as he began to think carefully. The 5 elements life-generating array was already a Tier 3 middle-grade array. With him personally presiding over it, even if a Tier 3 middle-grade array master like Mu Yan attacked with a few array-breaking treasures, the chances of breaking the 5 elements life-generating array were slim. Still, I need to move killing Xianxia up on my list of priorities. The people he hires are getting stronger each time. Sooner or later, they'll pose a real threat to Chang'an Mountain. Xianxia has been at the early stage of Golden Core for many years and has a deep foundation. The evil soul's netherworld evil domain should be able to trap him, but not for very long. Li Chang'an wasn't confident that he could kill Xianxia before the man broke out of the netherworld evil domain. If the fight dragged on for too long, it would likely draw out Huang He Master. Unless the evil soul's power increases further. Li Chang'an took out the venerable soul banner and communicated seriously with its artifact spirit. He wanted the evil soul to be powerful enough to match a middle-stage Golden Core cultivator. In response, the artifact spirit indicated that based on the current quality of the souls, it would need about 900,000 souls for the evil soul to match a middle-stage Golden Core cultivator. Although Li Chang'an had been continuously acquiring souls recently, the number of souls inside the venerable soul banner had only just reached 480,000. The goal of 900,000 was still a long way off, unless he could kill a few more demon sect saint children like Sun Hai. In addition, the vast amount of treasures required for the venerable soul banner to advance to Tier 3 middle grade was another headache. The evil soul, squatting to the side, suggested, if you're in such a hurry, why not use your Li Fan identity to go fishing? The Yin Soul sect has a warrant out for you anyway. You might be able to bait a few big fish. Kill a few more of those and you'll have all the souls you need. I'm just afraid that what we bait won't be a big fish, but a giant crocodile, one that could swallow us both in a single bite. Li Chang'an shook his head slightly. He had also considered going fishing, but this was something that had to be handled slowly and couldn't be rushed. After all, the Yin Soul sect was backed by a nascent soul demon sect, and he was afraid of provoking a nascent soul old demon. With his current strength, dealing with Golden Core cultivators was already a struggle. If he faced a nascent soul expert, his only option would be to flee for his life well in advance. The evil soul couldn't help but say, "You're being far too cautious. If it were me, I'd have gone fishing long ago." Li Chang'an replied coolly, "It is precisely because I am cautious that I am still alive, while you are nothing more than a cluster of remnant souls." The evil soul was speechless. Li Chang'an, meanwhile, continued to ponder. The venerable soul banner is a demonic tool, and it's very difficult to improve it further, but my own righteous Tao techniques can still be enhanced, like my sword array. The 9 swords array was already a technique on par with the middle stage of Golden Core. If it were stronger, reaching the 27 swords of the minor success realm, it could likely threaten someone at the late stage of Golden Core. At that point, Li Chang'an might just be able to kill Xianxia with the sword array before he could break out of the netherworld evil domain. After his divine sense reached the fake pill level, he could control more streams of sword chi, but it still wasn't enough to form the 27 swords, not unless his own magical power also reached the fake pill level. I'll have to rely on Xiaohui. Judging from past experience, if the profound water turtle broke through to Tier 3 and then used its borrowing technique talent, there was a high probability that Li Chang'an's magical power would reach the fake pill level. After all, back when the profound water turtle broke through to Tier 2 and used the borrowing technique on him, it had granted him the power of a fake foundation establishment. Xiaohui has been at the Tier 2 peak for many years and has a deep foundation, but it has long lacked a suitable treasure for advancement. Li Chang'an looked at the beast-taming wheel in his hand, lost in thought. The Zhou family's old demon king, the abyssal water turtle, was a water attribute Tier 3 demon beast and coincidentally also a turtle species. If the profound water turtle could devour its nearly 1,000 years of accumulated water element essence, its chances of advancing would increase significantly. Xiaohui, let's do this. Help me refine this beast-taming wheel. The profound water turtle nodded seriously, and did its best to use the borrowing technique talent, lending as much of its magical power to Chang'an as it possibly could. The evil soul, still squatting to the side, thought for a moment before speaking. This borrowing technique talent is truly heaven-defying. In my memories, not even a demon beast with a celestial grade bloodline possesses this kind of talent technique. You've seen a demon beast with a celestial grade bloodline. Of course I have. The evil soul immediately began to boast. After all, it was composed of countless remnant souls, and its mind contained a vast number of fragmented memories. Among them were the memories of disciples from the ancient beast-taming sect. The ancient beast-taming sect had demon beasts with celestial-grade bloodlines, and not just one. A few of them even reached Tier 5, powerful enough to battle a divinity transformation celestial monarch. Chapter 441, Chapter 249, Plotting Against the Demon King, a Posthumous Letter. The evil soul spoke at length, rambling on about the past. After a while, Chang'an asked, "In your memory, do you know what finally happened to the 9 great sects? Were they all destroyed? And what about the ones who destroyed them?" "Well," the evil soul scratched its head, looking embarrassed. "I only know that each sect sent a group of core members to a secret realm mini-world to escape the calamity. As for the final outcome, I'm not sure," it admitted frankly. The remnant souls that composed it had all perished in the chaotic battles at the very beginning of the great calamity. "Oh right, I just remembered an incantation that can help you speed up the refinement of this beast-taming wheel." "Oh, tell me quickly." "Listen closely." The evil soul held nothing back, immediately reciting a magical art. The beast-taming wheel technique. This technique was a companion to the beast-taming wheel, designed to help disciples of the beast-taming sect refine and control it. Chang'an learned quickly. He mastered the technique in moments. He immediately employed it, and was thrilled to discover his refinement speed had indeed increased significantly. At this rate, I should be able to completely refine the beast-taming wheel in about 5 more days. By then, he could try to deal with the Zhou family's old demon king. The control method described in this technique is just as I heard in my dream of a past life from ancient times. I can use both magical power and divine sense to control the beast-taming wheel simultaneously. With Chang'an's Tier 3 divine sense, controlling the beast-taming wheel would be enough to suppress an ordinary Tier 3 early-stage demon beast. As for a Tier 3 middle-stage demon beast, however, he wasn't very confident. "Before I make a move, I'll have to consult the divination first," Chang'an mused. If the divination was unfavorable, he would retreat immediately. He would wait until Zhou Sheng and the others found the old patriarch of the Zhou family, and then he would work with the old patriarch, using the half of the restricted spirit contract in his possession to suppress the old demon king together. Just as he was thinking this, 2 streaks of light suddenly tore across the distant sky. They arrived before Chang'an Mountain and transformed into 2 figures. One of them was none other than Xianxia. The other was the array master he had invited from the Red Flame sect. Mu Yan. Although his cultivation had stagnated at the early stage of Golden Core, he was exceptionally talented in the art of arrays, having reached the level of Tier 3 middle grade. "Elder He, Elder Mu, what brings you both all this way?" Chang'an put away the beast-taming wheel, and with a smile, cupped his hands in salute to the 2 men. Xianxia's expression was impassive, and he did not respond. Mu Yan ignored him as well. His eyes narrowed slightly as he scanned the entirety of Chang'an Mountain. Time slowly passed. He remained completely still, his expression slowly shifting from its initial indifference to one of gravity. Xianxia asked in a low voice, "Taoist Mu, this array on Chang'an Mountain is formidable, but it's only Tier 3 low grade. With your skill combined with an array-breaking treasure, you should be able to breach it." "You are mistaken, Taoist He." Mu Yan slowly shook his head. "This array is not Tier 3 low grade, but Tier 3 middle grade. Furthermore, it's no ordinary Tier 3 middle grade array. The complexity of its array patterns and the ingenuity of its structure far surpass any other Tier 3 middle grade array I have ever seen." "Tier 3 middle grade." Xianxia was startled and looked at Chang'an Mountain intently. He didn't understand arrays. To him, Chang'an Mountain looked no different from the last time he had seen it. Taoist Mu, Taoist Du of the 10,000 Sword sect, has also seen this array. He said it was Tier 3 low grade. Du Han. Yes, Taoist Du Han. Either his judgment is lacking, or, after you left, this kid upgraded the array by a full tier. Mu Yan said slowly, adding that he believed the second possibility was more likely. Although Du Han's array Dao skill was inferior to his own, it wasn't so poor that he would misjudge an array's tier. In my view, there must be a Tier 3 middle grade array master backing this kid, one whose array Dao skill is even greater than my own. I am powerless against this array. This. Xianxia stared at Chang'an Mountain, finding it all difficult to believe. With Li Chang'an's capabilities, how could he possibly get an array master even stronger than Mu Yan to help him? Furthermore, where could he have gotten enough spirit stones to purchase the materials for a Tier 3 middle grade grand array? Countless questions flashed through Xianxia's mind. Li Chang'an, who is this person backing you? The more Xianxia thought about it, the more unbelievable it seemed, and he couldn't help but ask the question aloud. Li Chang'an also put on a bewildered expression. The person backing me, Elder, there is no one behind me. If that's the case, then who set up this array for you? Elder, I found this array in a storage pouch I picked up on the side of the road. It contained detailed instructions for its formation, so I didn't need anyone else to set it up for me. Picked up on the side of the road. Xianxia's face twitched. He knew there was no point in questioning him further. He was destined to never get a straight answer. In the end, Xianxia had no choice but to leave. The two of them transformed into a streak of light and vanished over the horizon in an instant. Li Chang'an returned to his cave residence, entered the borrowed state, and resumed his refinement of the beast-taming wheel. 5 days later at dusk, a joyful expression lit up Li Chang'an's face as he gazed at the beast-taming wheel in his hand. It's done. After 5 full days of refinement, he could finally wield the beast-taming wheel at will. Go! With a mere thought from Li Chang'an, the beast-taming wheel flew out and, in an instant, settled around Da Huang's neck. Da Huang's face filled with terror. It trembled uncontrollably, pinned in place and unable to move. Then the beast-taming wheel flew off again, shrinking as it went, and landed around the profound water turtle's neck. The profound water turtle's reaction was no better. It seemed to have an innate fear of this type of magical treasure. Suppressed by the beast-taming wheel, their very lives now rested on a single thought from Li Chang'an. Not bad, a fine treasure. With another thought from Li Chang'an, the beast-taming wheel transformed into a streak of light and returned to his storage pouch. Chapter 442, Chapter 249, Plotting Against the Demon King, a posthumous letter from an old friend. In the days that followed, he left Chang'an Mountain and entered the Black Dragon Mountain range, seeking out a few Tier 2 demon beasts to test his new treasure. When he brought out the magical treasure, every demon beast was suppressed without fail. Not even those at the peak of Tier 2 could escape. A treasure from the ancient beast-taming sect, indeed. After several tests, Li Chang'an grew increasingly satisfied with it. He returned to Chang'an Mountain and began plotting how to deal with the Zhou family's old demon king. A few days later, Li Chang'an was just planning to seek out the Zhou clan members to discuss the details of dealing with the old demon king. Just then, he suddenly received a letter. This is a letter from Yulan. Li Chang'an sensed a familiar aura from it, and a figure from his distant past surfaced in his mind. Sun Yulan. In the beginning, she had sought the path of cultivation with him, and they had come to Qinghe marketplace together. During those years in Qinghe, as cultivators from the same mortal realm, they often gathered together. Over time, people in their group kept passing away unexpectedly. At their last gathering, only 4 of them remained. Himself, Sufugui, Chu Danyu, and Sun Yulan. Sun Yulan had once been interested in him, but he was too ordinary in those years, lost in the crowd with nothing to distinguish him. Because of this, Sun Yulan had let those feelings go. Later, he acquired the art of divination. Step by step, he began to stand out among the loose cultivators. Sun Yulan found him again, confessed her feelings, and asked to become his cultivation partner. Li Chang'an did not agree and rejected her outright. After that, the two of them gradually drifted apart. After reaching foundation establishment, Li Chang'an never saw Sun Yulan again. Receiving her letter so suddenly now came as quite a surprise. So Yulan has already passed away. Li Chang'an let out a soft sigh after reading the letter. The letter detailed Sun Yulan's experiences over the years. Back then, after Su Fugui, Li Chang'an and the others left Kingham Marketplace one by one. Sun Yulan had also wanted to venture out to seek her own fortune, but she was soon injured by tribulation cultivators, who stole the opportunity she had fought so hard to obtain. Disheartened, she returned to Kingham Marketplace. Later, Sun Yulan heard that Li Chang'an had reached Foundation establishment, while she remained destitute. Unwilling to face Li Chang'an, she left King, returned to the mortal realm, and lived out the rest of her days in a small county town. She wrote that she had been too materialistic in her youth, blinded by fame and profit. She had only wanted to climb higher, and in doing so, had grown distant from the then ordinary Li Chang'an. If she could live her life over again, she would have made a different choice. Another if only. Li Chang'an mused. How can life have so many if-onlys? A few days later, outside a small county town in a mortal realm, Li Chang'an, Su Fugui, Chu Danyu, and Su Yang gather before Sun Yulan's grave to bid her farewell. Journey well, Yulan. The rest of this old friend's life had been very ordinary. She had never married, had no children and no other living relatives. To her neighbors, she was just a reclusive old woman. Over 100 years old, in the mortal realm that is considered a death worth celebrating. Su Yang remarked with a sigh. He hadn't reached Foundation establishment. His qi and blood were already in decline, and he didn't have much time left. Perhaps their next gathering would be for his own funeral. After the burial, the four of them returned to a restaurant where they had often eaten together back in their mortal days. They shared a mortal meal and reminisced about the past. The next day, Li Chang'an returned to Chang'an Mountain. To his surprise, Zhou Sheng was waiting for him on Chang'an Mountain. This time, Zhou Sheng hadn't brought any other Zhou clan members with him. He wore a strange expression, a mix of joy and worry. Before Li Chang'an could even ask, he began to speak. Taoist Li, the previous patriarch of my Zhou family, Zhou Yian, has returned from the mortal realm. Oh? Li Chang'an's spirits lifted. He immediately asked, Taoist Zhou, does he still have his half of the restricted spirit contract? He does, and it's perfectly intact. This was precisely the reason for Zhou Sheng's joy. As long as they had the restricted spirit contract, they could suppress the old demon king. Even though it was only half, they at least had a way to fight back, unlike before when they were completely helpless. Li Chang'an asked again, Taoist Zhou, when do you plan to deal with the old demon king? About that. At the mention of this, a bitter smile appeared on Zhou Sheng's face. Taoist Li, the former patriarch, doesn't believe the old demon king would ever turn against the Zhou family. He thinks the new patriarch is deliberately using the old demon king to eliminate his rivals, targeting clan members from other factions. Hearing this, Li Chang'an frowned. This isn't going to be as easy as I thought. Zhou Sheng continued, the former patriarch is quite stubborn. He plans to go to the Zhou clan territory alone to persuade the current patriarch, Zhou Dingrong, and demand that he put the family's interests first. That's not stubborn, that's just stupid. Li Chang'an cursed inwardly. It's one thing if that old fool wants to get himself killed, but he absolutely cannot take that half of the restricted spirit contract with him. Taoist Zhou, has he gone yet? Not yet. Zhou Sheng shook his head. The former patriarch was about to leave, but many of the Zhou clan members stopped him. They're at a stalemate right now. They won't let him go to the Zhou clan territory, and he won't hand over his half of the restricted spirit contract to them. That was why Zhou Sheng had come to Li Chang'an, hoping he could devise a plan. Taoist Li, what do you think we should do? This is simple. Li Chang'an didn't have the patience for persuasion. He planned to simply knock the former Zhou patriarch unconscious and take that half of the restricted spirit contract from him. Taoist Zhou, take me to your current hiding place. All right, Taoist Li, follow me. Zhou Sheng nodded and shot away from Chang'an Mountain as a streak of light. Li Chang'an followed closely behind. Before long, the two once again entered the ancient wood's secret realm. The Zhou clan members' hiding place was still within the ancient wood's secret realm. Soon, Li Chang'an arrived at the hidden cave residence. The moment he stepped inside, he was met with the sounds of arguing and pleading. Many Zhou clan members were trying to persuade a withered old man with a full head of white hair. It was none other than the previous patriarch of the Zhou family. Zhou Yian. Li Chang'an drew a little closer, sizing him up for a moment before calling out, "Taoist Zhou." Hello? Over 1,000 Zhou clan members responded in unison, turning to look at Chang'an. Chapter 443, Chapter 250, Entering the Formation Alone, the Might of the Magical Treasure. The call of Taoist Zhou silenced the entire cave abode for an instant. Over 1,000 gazes fixed on Chang'an. "So it's Taoist Li. Elder Li." A clamor of voices rose from the crowd. The vast majority of them had been brought to Chang'an Mountain by Zhou Sheng to have Chang'an inspect them for demon qi, so he was no stranger to them. Chang'an smiled and cupped his hands in greeting. "Taoist Zhou Yian." "You're Chang'an." Zhou Yian's brow furrowed as he sized him up. "Chang'an, are you the one who declared that our Zhou family's old beast king has turned traitor?" "Taoist Zhou, I merely pointed out something amiss." "Amiss?" Zhou Yian snorted coldly. His attitude toward Chang'an was openly hostile. He seemed to view Chang'an as the main culprit behind the Zhou family schism. "Do you have any idea of the old Beast King's long and meritorious service? He has guarded my Zhou family for nearly 1,000 years, watching our descendants grow generation after generation. He has long been one of us. How could he possibly turn on the Zhou family?" At these words, the surrounding Zhou clan members wore mixed expressions. It seemed many of them agreed with him. Chang'an retorted with a simple phrase. "If they are not our kin, their hearts are bound to be different." "Absurd," Zhou Yian snapped. He remained unconvinced and was still determined to return to the Zhou clan territory. "Chang'an, this supposed betrayal by the Beast King is nothing more than your own speculation. I refuse to." Before he could finish, his vision suddenly went black and he collapsed. At the sight of this, the surrounding Zhou clan members' expressions changed drastically. "Patriarch? Great-grandfather? What happened? Why did he suddenly collapse? He was perfectly fine." They rushed forward, helped Zhou Yian up and checked his qi. When they found his qi was stable, they all breathed a small sigh of relief. Chang'an stepped forward and said calmly, "There's no need to worry. I just used a little trick. Taoist Zhou will wake up shortly." He couldn't be bothered to waste words on this old man. So he had the 10,000 poison goose secretly poison him, sending him into a deep slumber. "Come." With a beckoning gesture, Chang'an took Zhou Yian's storage pouch. He effortlessly wiped away the restriction on the storage pouch, opened it, and rummaged through its contents. Finally, in a corner, he found what he was looking for. Half a spirit contract. With this half of the spirit contract, he could suppress the old Beast King. Combined with the beast taming wheel, it might be possible to completely subdue it. "All right, Taoist Zhou, you can wake up now." Chang'an casually tossed his storage pouch back. Zhou Yian's eyelids twitched. He slowly opened his eyes, a trace of confusion flashing within them. He quickly came to his senses, and that confusion turned to fury. "Chang'an, you dare to lay a hand on me." "And why wouldn't I dare?" "You?" Zhou Yian was at a loss for words. After all, he had already made his move. More words were useless. He quickly noticed the spirit contract in Chang'an's hand. His anger flared anew, and his eyes seemed to spew fire. "Chang'an, that belongs to my Zhou family. What right do you have to take it?" Chang'an couldn't be bothered to answer. He simply walked to one side and carefully examined the half-spirit contract. The spirit contract was covered in all sorts of restrictions and bindings. Once used, that old demon king wouldn't be completely suppressed, but its life would become a living hell, and its combat strength would be drastically reduced. Seeing that Chang'an was still ignoring him, Zhou Yian grew even more furious and turned to the surrounding Zhou clan members. "Not a single one of you believes me. You believe this outsider Chang'an instead." None of the Zhou clan members answered, all remaining silent. Zhou Yian was incandescent with rage. "Fine, fine, fine. Since it's come to this, I will go back myself and show you who is right and who is wrong." With that, the old man ignored the others' attempts to stop him, turned into a streak of spiritual light, and shot straight out of the cave abode. He refused to believe the old Beast King would turn traitor, convinced the problem lay with the current Zhou family patriarch. "Sai, what should we do?" Zhou Sheng was a little anxious. Although the spirit contract was in hand, he was unwilling to watch Zhou Yian walk right into a trap. Chang'an said calmly, "Taoist Zhou, you are the patriarch now. You must act decisively, not hesitantly. I... Zhou Sheng froze, realizing his own failing. Too hesitant, always looking over my shoulder, lacking the decisiveness a true patriarch ought to have. Li Chang'an shouldn't have been needed for today's affair. I could have made the decision myself, restrained the old patriarch, and forcibly taken the spirit contract from his hands. But I couldn't make up my mind, which is why Li Chang'an had to step in. Zhou Sheng took a deep breath and bowed deeply to Li Chang'an. Thank you for the reminder, Taoist Li. I must ask you to help me with one more thing. What is it? The old patriarch's escape technique is impressive. None of us can catch him. Please, Taoist Li, knock him unconscious and bring him back. All right. Li Chang'an nodded slightly and put away the half-spirit contract. The next moment, he turned into a streak of spiritual light and vanished from everyone's sight. Zhou Sheng looked outside the cave abode and sighed to himself. I hope Taoist Li can catch up. Zhou Yan's escape technique was indeed impressive. His cultivation had long ago reached foundation establishment peak. When he unleashed his escape technique with full force, an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator stood no chance of catching him. Even Li Chang'an had to chase for quite a while. He pursued him all the way to the entrance of the ancient wood secret realm, before he finally saw Zhou Yan's figure. At this moment, Zhou Yan had already stopped. He wasn't resting, however. He was in a standoff with a dozen or so Zhou clan members. Li Chang'an used his stone eye and looked carefully. All of these Zhou clan members have demon qi inside them. I'm afraid Zhou Yan is in trouble. As expected, one of them, his expression cold, bellowed. Old fool, give me that half of the spirit contract. Ziokai, how can you call me that? Hearing those two words, old fool, Zhu Yan's aged face filled with disbelief. Chapter 444, Chapter 250, Entering the Formation Alone, the Might of the Magical Treasure. This was Zhou Kai, his direct descendant. In all their previous meetings, Zhou Kai had always addressed him affectionately as great-grandfather, never showing the slightest disrespect. But this time, it was as if he had become a completely different person. His eyes were cold and detached, showing no emotion whatsoever. Kai, what on earth has happened? Zhou Yan asked, his voice still filled with concern. Did Zhou Dingrong force you to do this? You old fool, you talk too much. Zhou Kai's expression turned harsh, a hint of killing intent flashing in his eyes. Looks like I'll have to slaughter you and find the spirit contract in your storage pouch. What? Zhou Yan's face paled, unable to believe what he was hearing. Kai, I'm your great-grandfather, how could you? Before he could finish, Zhou Kai and the others attacked in unison. Magical power surged around their bodies. Every one of their opening moves was a killing blow, showing no intention of letting Zhou Yan live. Although Zhou Yan was stronger, he couldn't withstand the combined assault of more than 10 junior foundation establishment cultivators, and was instantly forced onto the defensive. Why is this happening? He couldn't understand. A look of grief flashed across his aged face. Kai, tell me, did Zhou Dingrong force you to sign a spirit contract? Is he forcing you to obey him? Zhou Dingrong. Zhou Kai sneered. He is nothing but one of this king's human servants. He must do whatever this king commands. What? Hearing this, Zhou Yan was utterly shaken to his core. In the entire Zhou family, the only one who referred to himself as this king was that old demon king, the abyssal water turtle. At that moment, he finally understood. Everything Zhou Sheng and the others had said before was true. All the clan members in the Zhou clan territory, including the new patriarch Zhou Dingrong, had suffered a backlash from the demon beast and become its slaves. Zhou Kai's condition before him was even more tragic than that of a slave. He seemed to have become a complete puppet under the old demon king's control. Filled with grief and indignation, Zhou Yan angrily demanded, Water Abyss Turtle King, how are you able to control my Zhou clan members? This is this king's talent technique. I have never revealed it for the past 1,000 years, enduring until this very day, all to completely break free from the Zhou family's control. The Water Abyss Turtle King sneered endlessly. From now on, this king is the master of the Zhou family, and you are all my servants. In your dreams. Zhou Yan gritted his teeth and held on, desperately looking for an opportunity to break out. But he soon discovered. All escape routes were sealed off, leaving him with no way out. Am I truly going to fall here today? A bleak feeling washed over Zhou Yian, and a hint of regret surfaced in his heart. At his age, he wasn't afraid of death, but he couldn't bear to see the Zhou family fall into the hands of a demon beast. His only hope now was to see the Zhou clan members retake control of the Zhou family before he died. But that hope seemed destined to be in vain. Sigh, if only I had listened to that young man, Li Chang'an, I might not have ended up in this situation. But it's too late now. Taoist Zhou, it's not too late for regrets. Li Chang'an appeared nearby, a faint smile on his face. Upon hearing this, Zhou Yian's heart leaped with joy, and he hurriedly pleaded for help. Taoist Li, please save me. All right. With a flicker, Li Chang'an's figure joined the battle. Seeing this, the Water Abyss Turtle King was not concerned. Li Chang'an, with your meager middle-stage foundation establishment cultivation, you think you can save someone from under my nose. Without the Tier 3 array on Chang'an Mountain, you're nothing but. Before he could finish speaking, his expression changed drastically. Because Li Chang'an's phantom-like figure had already appeared right in front of him. Smack! Li Chang'an casually struck out with his palm. Zhou Kai, under the Water Abyss Turtle King's control, was instantly sent flying, spitting blood as his entire face was beaten out of shape. Next, before Zhou Yian's shocked eyes, Li Chang'an dissolved into a series of afterimages, as if he had split into more than 10 clones. Without using any magic or treasures, relying solely on the raw power of his physical body, he instantly defeated the dozen or so foundation establishment cultivators of the Zhou family. All of them were sent flying, coughing up blood. Gravely injured, they crashed heavily to the ground. Such astonishing strength. Zhou Yian was utterly shaken and sucked in a sharp breath. He knew Li Chang'an's strength was impressive, but he had never imagined he would be this strong. Then, with a thought from Li Chang'an, over a dozen spiritual artifact chains flew out of his storage pouch, tightly binding the foundation establishment cultivators of the Zhou family, including Zhou Kai. The Water Abyss Turtle King, too, found this difficult to accept. He couldn't understand. How could there be such a powerful foundation establishment cultivator? This level of strength. It far exceeded his expectations. Fortunately, Li Chang'an still hadn't reached Tier 3, so he was no match for the Turtle King's true body. At this thought, the Water Abyss Turtle King once again bellowed through Zhou Kai's body. Li Chang'an, if you have any guts, come to the Zhou clan territory and face this king in a final battle. Do you dare, you cowardly turtle? Hearing this, Zhou Yian hastily tried to dissuade him. Taoist Li, you mustn't fall for the abyssal water turtle's provocation. Don't worry, Taoist Zhou. Li Chang'an smiled. Such a simple goad wasn't enough to anger him. He raised his hand and, with a wave, collected the dozen or so Zhou clan members into a separate spirit beast bag, cutting off their senses from the outside world. He then casually tossed the spirit beast bag to Zhou Yian. Zhou Yian caught it and gave Li Chang'an a deep bow. Thank you for saving my life, Taoist Li. It was a small effort. Li Chang'an waved his hand dismissively, thinking nothing of it. Zhou Yian said solemnly, Taoist Li, your strength is extraordinary. That half of the spirit contract truly should be under your control. Taoist Zhou, to what extent can this half of the spirit contract suppress the Water Abyss Turtle King? Let me think. Zhou Yian pondered for a moment. If the spirit contract were complete, it could take the Water Abyss Turtle King's life directly, but with only half, its effectiveness is greatly diminished. It can only suppress a fraction of its power. Chapter 445, Chapter 250, Entering the Formation Alone, the Might of a Magical Treasure. Just a small part. Li Chang'an fell into thought. Suppressing a small part should be enough. To completely suppress it, I'll still have to rely on the beast taming wheel, a Quasite Ear 4 treasure. A short while later, the two returned to the ancient cave mansion where the Zhou clan members were hiding. Zhou Yian, his face filled with shame, apologized to all his clan members. Then Li Chang'an, Zhou Yian, and the others began a detailed discussion. Zhou Yian was worried that Li Chang'an wouldn't be able to handle the Abyssal Water Turtle King with only half a spirit contract. Therefore, he proposed going to the Cyan Cloud sect and paying a price to ask one of their Golden Core masters to intervene and resolve the Zhou family's crisis for good. Zhou Sheng's brow furrowed, and he shook his head. The Cyan Cloud sect may have the power to kill that Abyssal Water Turtle King, but from then on, our Zhou family would most likely become their vassal. Becoming a vassal is still better than having our entire clan annihilated. No, that plan is not suitable. Zhou Sheng looked at Li Chang'an, a hint of expectation in his eyes. Taoist Li, can you deal with the Abyssal Water Turtle King on your own? I have some confidence. Li Chang'an nodded slightly, his tone grave. Hearing this, the surrounding Zhou clan members glanced at each other, finding it hard to believe. They knew Li Chang'an was formidable, but he was, after all, just a foundation establishment cultivator. That old demon king not only possessed Tier 3 strength, but also controlled the Zhou clan territory's Tier 3 array. What could Li Chang'an possibly use to fight him? Zhou Yian asked worriedly, Taoist Li, what are your chances? It's hard to say. Li Chang'an didn't give a precise answer. He was still waiting for the divination. Soon midnight arrived. As usual, a golden light appeared before his eyes. Divination has been refreshed. Today's divination, Auspicious. You enter the Zhou clan territory alone, suppress the Abyssal Water Turtle King with half a spirit contract, and use the beast taming wheel to successfully subdue it. Successfully subdue it. Li Chang'an's heart leaped with joy, and he breathed a sigh of relief. With the divination as his safety net, his confidence soared. As long as nothing unexpected happened, that Abyssal Water Turtle King was as good as his. A moment later, Li Chang'an said to Zhou Yian, Taoist Zhou, I am 70% certain I can suppress the Abyssal Water Turtle King in this battle. 70%. Zhou Yian was astonished. The number was simply too high. Even with just a 30% chance, he would have been willing to let Li Chang'an try. After all, he didn't want the Zhou family to become a vassal of the Cyan Cloud sect either. Taoist Li, are you really 70% certain? Yes, I can swear on my Tao heart. There's no need, I believe you, Taoist Li. Zhou Yian immediately stopped him. One should avoid making an oath on their Tao heart if at all possible. Following some discussion, the Zhou clan members all agreed to let Li Chang'an try first. If Li Chang'an failed, they would then go to the Cyan Cloud sect for help. Li Chang'an secretly sent a sound transmission to Zhou Yian and Zhou Sheng. Fellow Taoists, I have a Tier 2 peak water element turtle demon. If this battle is successful, I will need all of the Abyssal Water Turtle King's water element essence, and I will need to use your Zhou family spirit vein to break through. Taoist Li, it shall be as you say. Neither of them had any objections. They no longer wanted to keep that Abyssal Water Turtle King around. A master-devouring demon cannot be kept. Once it has betrayed its master, it will do so again. Zhou Yian said, Taoist Li, I have several treasures that can help a Tier 2 water element demon beast advance. If you succeed, I am willing to give all of them to you. Good, it's a deal. The two parties did not sign a spirit contract. Li Chang'an wasn't worried about the Zhou family going back on their word. If they did, he could just slaughter the entire Zhou family and seize their spirit vein and treasures by force. An hour later, Li Chang'an set out that very night. Zhou Yian and the others saw him to the entrance of the cave mansion. Taoist Li, you must take care. Your life is what's most important. If things look bad, retreat immediately. The others all spoke up, their faces etched with unconcealable worry. Although Li Chang'an had said he was 70% certain, in the eyes of most Zhou clan members, it was very likely he would not return from this trip. There's no need to worry, just wait for good news. Li Chang'an smiled, lingered no longer, and transformed into a streak of light as he sped away. He entered the borrowed state, his escape technique incredibly fast. Like a meteor from beyond the heavens, he tore across the silent night sky, not stopping for a moment until he reached the vicinity of the Zhou clan territory. The Zhou clan territory didn't look much different than before. A peaceful and harmonious atmosphere permeated the territory. Countless Zhou clan members went about their business. On the surface, nothing seemed out of place. But under the gaze of his stone eye, the entire Zhou clan territory was thick with the color of blood and surging with monstrous demon qi. It was nothing short of a demon's nest. The place with the densest demon qi faintly exuded the pressure of a Tier 3 demon king. It was the domain of the Abyssal Water Turtle King. With a thought, Li Chang'an took out the venerable soul banner. Evil soul, protect me from the shadows. You got it, don't you worry about a thing, boss. The evil soul immediately transformed into a wisp of black smoke and stuck close behind Li Chang'an. Li Chang'an's figure flickered. Without any attempt at concealment, He charged straight into the Zhou clan territory's Tier 3 array. In that instant, the entire Zhou clan territory trembled. Countless Zhou clan members and demon beasts raised their heads, staring intently at the figure in the sky. Immediately after, a great laugh rang out. "Ha ha ha, Li Chang'an, you actually dared to come." The abyssal water turtle king roared with laughter, appearing in midair in the blink of an eye. Beneath the vast sky, a man and a turtle stood facing each other. Li Chang'an wasted no time on words, immediately activating all the restrictions on his half of the spirit contract. Buzz! The abyssal water turtle king trembled violently as blood-red chains and symbols materialized around its body. Its aura weakened steadily, and a hint of pain appeared in its eyes. But it didn't seem to care, and it continued to laugh maniacally. "Li Chang'an, you think you can suppress me with just half a spirit contract?" Although its aura had diminished considerably, it was still at the Tier 3 early stage, and a particularly powerful one at that. Li Chang'an's previous guess had been correct. After taking control of the Zhou family, the abyssal water turtle king had plundered the treasure vault of everything useful to it, raising its own strength to the Tier 3 middle stage. Furthermore, it had yet to absorb a large amount of water element essence from the treasures within its body. If it absorbed it all, it would certainly be able to advance to the Tier 3 late stage. The Zhou family's thousand-year foundation was no empty boast. The abyssal water turtle king laughed loudly. "Li Chang'an, if you become my human servant, I might consider letting you live." Before it could finish speaking, its expression changed drastically. It sensed an aura that filled it with extreme terror. A ray of spiritual light shot out from Li Chang'an's storage pouch, transforming in midair into the terrifyingly oppressive beast-taming wheel. Like a blazing sun, it suddenly bore down upon the entire Zhou clan territory. In that moment, the thousands of demons in the Zhou clan territory were struck with terror. Chapter 446, Chapter 251, Devouring the Demon King, the Zhou family borrows a turtle. The mere aura of the beast-taming wheel sent countless Tier 1 minor demons collapsing to the ground in terror. Even the Tier 2 great demons were filled with dread, sensing imminent disaster and flailing in panic. The abyssal water turtle, being a demon king, fared slightly better. But he too was gripped by fear. His face fell. A single glance at the beast-taming wheel sent fear spreading like wildfire through his heart, threatening to consume him whole. "Run!" The water abyss turtle king didn't hesitate for a second. He abandoned everything, not even sparing a thought for his numerous demon beast subordinates in the Zhou clan territory, and transformed into a deep blue streak of spiritual light to make a frantic escape. But before he could even escape the clan territory's borders, bursting with golden light, the beast-taming wheel descended from the sky and clamped down on his neck. "No!" The water abyss turtle king roared in fury, resisting with all its might. It unleashed a torrent of water element demonic power, attempting to fight off the beast-taming wheel. But it was all in vain. A moment later, with a loud boom, the water abyss turtle king's massive demon body crashed to the ground, smashing into a cluster of Zhou family houses. The beast-taming wheel seemed to possess an immense weight, crushing him so completely he couldn't even lift his head. Brilliant golden symbols flew from the beast-taming wheel, searing themselves into the water abyss turtle king's flesh. With every new golden symbol, the water abyss turtle king would let out a blood-curdling wail. "No, I will not submit." He struggled frantically, but it was useless. The suppressive force grew ever stronger, while his own power dwindled. In the end, the water abyss turtle king was completely immobilized. "Li Chang'an, release me. I'm willing to be your protector for 100 years." He shouted, attempting to bargain with Li Chang'an. But Li Chang'an ignored him completely. "A master-devouring demon like this can't be trusted, no matter what it says." With a wave of his hand, he sealed the water abyss turtle king away in his storage pouch. That was fairly easy. The battle ended quickly, the entire process having gone exactly as Li Chang'an had expected. Inside the Zhou clan territory, there were still many Tier 1 minor demons and Tier 2 great demons. At this moment, these demon beasts were frantically trying to escape in all directions. With their beast king subdued, they couldn't muster the slightest courage to resist. Trying to escape. Li Chang'an snorted coldly. With a mere thought, he instantly took control of the Zhou family's Tier 3 array. Immediately, the grand array roared to life, devouring the spiritual power from the spirit vein and instantly suppressing all the fleeing demon beasts. I can't kill these demon beasts just yet. They forced all the Zhou clan members in this territory to sign a servant spirit contract with them. If they die, the numerous Zhou clan members will die as well. Contain. With a grand wave of his hand, Chang'an sent something flying. One after another, spirit beast bags flew out and hovered in midair. Their mouths gaped open, sucking all the demon beasts in the territory inside. Just then, a streak of spiritual light flew out from within the Zhou clan territory, transforming into a middle-aged man who came to stand before Chang'an. My name is Zhou Dingrong. Many thanks for your help, Taoist Li. He was none other than the current patriarch of the Zhou family. Previously, under the Water Abyss Turtle King's control, he had been reduced to a mindless puppet. But now, the Water Abyss Turtle King had been suppressed by Chang'an. He had temporarily regained his freedom. Chang'an sized him up and discovered a wisp of the Water Abyss Turtle King's divine sense within his body. This Water Abyss Turtle King's talent technique can control cultivators. It's similar to my wood seed technique. Most demon beasts' talent techniques were unremarkable. But occasionally, some truly heaven-defying talent techniques would appear. For example, the profound water turtle's borrowing technique, and this Water Abyss Turtle King's control technique. Sever. Chang'an activated the Golden Soul Sword transformation technique, manifesting a gleaming golden sword of divine awareness that instantly flew into Zhou Dingrong's sea of consciousness. The wisp of divine sense left by the Water Abyss Turtle King was instantly obliterated, dissipating into nothingness. A tremor ran through Zhou Dingrong, and he instantly felt a great weight lifted. Many thanks, Taoist Li. He was overjoyed and thanked him repeatedly. Chang'an waved his hand and said indifferently, "No need to thank me. I was simply fulfilling a request." Next, he spoke with Zhou Dingrong for a moment. Zhou Dingrong explained the current situation in the Zhou clan territory in detail. Only a very small number of high-ranking Zhou family members were controlled by the Water Abyss Turtle King's talent technique. The vast majority of the clan members retained their free will, but they had been forced to sign a servant contract and had no choice but to obey the demon beast's commands. Chang'an had Zhou Dingrong go and gather the Zhou family clan members. He himself transformed into a streak of light and headed for the depths of the Zhou family estate, finding the location of the Zhou family treasure vault. Open. Chang'an casually broke through the Tier 3 array protecting the treasure vault, walked inside, and carefully inspected the treasures within. As expected, the treasure vault was already nearly half empty. Many precious treasures had been used by the Water Abyss Turtle King. 1,000 years of the Zhou family's accumulation, and this is all that's left. Chang'an sighed softly, somewhat disappointed. Fortunately, his trip was not in vain. Among the items were several earth element treasures that would help Dahuang advance to Tier 3. He casually took them. He also took some materials suitable for array formation and crafting puppets. Before long, Zhou Dingrong arrived at the treasure vault. Taoist Li, I have gathered the Zhou clan members. Good, wait a moment. Chang'an walked through the treasure vault, his gaze sweeping over the treasures one by one, taking anything he found useful. Seeing this, Zhou Dingrong felt a pang of heartache, but he did not stop him. Chang'an had saved countless members of the Zhou family. He was the Zhou family's benefactor. Even if he wanted every treasure in the vault, the Zhou family would have no reason to stop him. Besides, he had only taken a small portion. After a while, Chang'an finished his selection and turned to walk out of the treasure vault. He and Zhou Dingrong went together to see the numerous Zhou clan members who were either controlled or had been forced to sign a spirit contract. Chapter 447, Chapter 251, Devouring the Demon King, the Zhou family borrows a turtle. Not many of them are under the Water Abyss Turtle King's direct control. Chang'an swept his divine sense over the crowd, carefully probing them. The ones under direct control were mostly the Zhou clan's foundation establishment cultivators. Since this group formed the family's upper echelon, controlling them meant controlling the entire Zhou family. If Chang'an wished, he could also use the wood seed technique to control these Zhou clan members and make the Zhou family his subordinates. But he had no desire to divert so much of his divine sense. Sever. He unleashed the Golden Soul Sword transformation technique, forming countless small golden swords that shattered the remnants of the water abyss turtle king's divine sense within their bodies, completely restoring their freedom. Afterward, he released the numerous little demons and great demons. The Zhou clan members each found the spirit beast that had controlled them, then reforged their spirit contracts to break free from the control. With that, the entire Zhou family had essentially returned to how it was before the demon beasts took control. Zhou Dingrong and the many members of the Zhou family bowed in unison to thank Li Chang'an. "Thank you, Taoist Li. Thank you, Elder Li." A chorus of thanks rose and fell, echoing for a long time without end. Li Chang'an did not shy away, accepting their bows with a clear conscience. "Everyone, what happened today must be kept strictly to yourselves. Do not mention it to any outsiders." "Taoist Li, rest assured we all understand." Zhou Dingrong and the others nodded, swearing an oath on their Tao hearts then and there. Afterward, Li Chang'an and Zhou Dingrong left the Zhou clan territory together, heading for the hiding place of Zhou Yian and his group. Along the way, Zhou Dingrong asked about the water abyss turtle king. "Taoist Li, how do you plan to deal with that water abyss turtle king?" "Kill it, of course," Li Chang'an said calmly, glancing at him. "What is Taoist Zhou reluctant to part with this old demon king?" "That's not it, it's just." Zhou Dingrong paused, a worried expression on his face. He sighed. "The Zhou family hasn't produced a core formation cultivator in all these years. We've relied entirely on a Tier 3 demon beast to maintain our facade as a golden core family. Now that the spirit rock rat king is dead, if this water abyss turtle king also dies, the Zhou family will have no Tier 3 power." The Zhou family was now in the same predicament the Mo family had faced before. The Mo family, at least, still had Mo Qingsu. Mo Qingsu's successful breakthrough to core formation was enough to extend the Mo family's glory for another 400 years. But the Zhou family's situation was much worse. The Zhou family originally had several golden core seeds who were prime candidates for core formation, but they had either died in the wars between sects or perished while resisting the water abyss turtle king. Though the Zhou family still had talented members, none were anywhere close to core formation. This was the reason for Zhou Dingrong's worry. "Taoist Li, what do you think I should do?" He was truly at his wit's end and couldn't help but ask Li Chang'an, an outsider, for advice. Li Chang'an didn't have a good solution either. He certainly couldn't just give the water abyss turtle king back to the Zhou family. The two talked as they walked. Gradually, they approached the ancient cave mansion where Zhou Yian and the others were hiding. Meanwhile, inside the ancient cave mansion, the atmosphere was heavy. Li Chang'an had yet to return, and a bad feeling began to spread among them. "I'm afraid Taoist Li isn't coming back. Let's wait a little longer. Taoist Li is prudent and never acts without confidence." "That's right, everyone, don't forget, Taoist Li has the nickname Turtle. When it comes to self-preservation, none of us can compare to him." Sensing the grim atmosphere, Zhou Sheng tried to lift everyone's spirits. But the mood in the ancient cave mansion did not improve. Li Chang'an might be called a turtle, but his opponent was a genuine ancient turtle. Because of this, no one was very optimistic. But at that very moment, Li Chang'an's laughter echoed from outside the ancient cave mansion. "I don't even know who gave me this turtle nickname for it to become so widely known." "Taoist Li." Joy washed over the faces of Zhou Sheng, Zhou Yian, and the others as they rushed out to greet him. When they saw Zhou Dingrong standing beside Li Chang'an, their smiles grew even wider. Everyone understood that he had most likely succeeded. But they were still a bit uneasy. "Taoist Li, what was the result?" "Fortunately, I was successful." With a casual wave of his hand, Li Chang'an sent a ray of spiritual light flying from his spirit beast bag. It crashed heavily to the floor of the ancient cave mansion and took the form of the water abyss turtle king. Seeing the old demon king, the Zhou clan members were both surprised and utterly shocked. Just a moment ago, a sliver of doubt had remained in their hearts, the fear that Li Chang'an might also have fallen under the water abyss turtle king's control. But now, with the proof laid out before them, all their doubts vanished. "Taoist Li, your strength is extraordinary. I am truly impressed," Zhou Yian said sincerely. "Suppress a Tier 3 demon king as a foundation establishment cultivator." In the past, such a feat would have been unthinkable, yet Li Chang'an had accomplished it. If word of this got out, it would surely shake the entire southern domain cultivation immortality realm. Li Chang'an, however, seemed unfazed. This is nothing special. The celestial prides from the nascent soul sects all have the strength to defeat a golden core master while at the foundation establishment stage. But Taoist Li, you aren't from a nascent soul sect, you are merely a loose cultivator. This was precisely what Zhou Yian and the others admired most. To have reached this stage as a loose cultivator, they couldn't begin to imagine the hardships he must have faced. Next, the Zhou family members present also swore oaths on their Dao hearts. They all knew that if word of this got out, Li Chang'an would undoubtedly be targeted by some powerful figures. Li Chang'an was the Zhou family's benefactor. They would never repay his kindness with malice. Furthermore, if the news were to leak, the Zhou family's own weakness would be exposed. At this moment, the many Zhou clan members all realized they faced the same problem. If we kill this old demon king, our Zhou family will have no Tier 3 power. What should we do? Chapter 448, Chapter 251, Devouring the Demon King, the Zhou family borrows the turtle. Zhou Yian, Zhou Dingrong, and Zhou Sheng, the three patriarchs, gathered and deliberated for a long time. Seeing this, the water abyss turtle king saw a glimmer of hope. He suddenly spoke up. Everyone, I know my crimes are unforgivable, and I do not expect your forgiveness, but I hope you can give me one more chance to continue protecting the Zhou family. Hearing this, everyone's expressions turned complicated, their thoughts divided. They all turned to look at the three patriarchs. Although no one spoke, it was clear that quite a few of them were swayed. The three patriarchs exchanged glances, apparently reached a decision, and turned in unison to face Li Chang'an. Taoist Li, may we have a word in private? Hello? Li Chang'an's mind stirred. He had a faint inkling of what the three were planning. Zhou Sheng sent a sound transmission. Taoist Li, would it be possible for us to see your Tier 2 turtle demon? Of course. Li Chang'an raised a hand and cast an array, causing the surroundings to blur and conceal the four of them from view. Then he released the profound water turtle. Zhou Sheng and the other two patriarchs were all quite skilled in the art of beast taming, and they carefully observed the profound water turtle. His aura is at Tier 2 peak, and he seems to have been at this level for a long time. His foundation is exceptionally solid. Indeed, if he devours the essence of that water abyss turtle king, his chances of advancing are quite high. The three men discussed in low voices, thoroughly pleased with every aspect of the profound water turtle. Zhou Yian said with some regret, "It's a pity. The profound water turtle only has a middle-grade bloodline, which won't help him break through to Tier 3. You are mistaken, Taoist Zhou. My profound water turtle has an earth-grade bloodline." What? Zhou Yian shuddered and immediately took out a treasure used for testing bloodlines. Before his and the other two patriarchs' astonished eyes, the bloodline treasure emitted an exceptionally brilliant light, one that corresponded exactly to an earth-grade bloodline. Zhou Yian asked in disbelief, "Taoist Li, could it be that your profound water turtle, just like Huang He Master's Huang He, was born with a mutated bloodline?" "Yes, that's right." "That's wonderful." Zhou Yian and the others looked at each other, joy evident in their eyes. An earth-grade bloodline. It was just like an earth spirit root for a member of the human race. When breaking through to Tier 3, the success rate was at least 20%. With a few supplementary treasures, the success rate would be greatly increased. And that water abyss turtle king was the perfect supplementary treasure, ready and waiting. Zhou Yian looked at the other two and asked, "Sheng, Dingrong, what do you think?" Zhou Sheng replied, "It should work. The earth-grade bloodline, combined with the nearly 1,000 years of accumulation from the water abyss turtle king and all the treasures it has consumed, is more than enough to help this profound water turtle break through to Tier 3. What's more, the quality of his demon pill won't be low. When a demon beast reaches Tier 3, its demon core can be called a demon pill. The tiers of a demon pill are categorized in the same way as a human race cultivator's golden core. Zhou Sheng speculated that with the profound water turtle's deep foundation and high talent, he should be able to form a superior demon pill. Indeed, that's what I was thinking as well. Zhou Dingrong nodded in agreement. After discussing for a moment longer, the three men looked at Li Chang'an again, their expressions somewhat strange. Zhou Sheng took a deep breath, cupped his hands and said, "Taoist Li, I have an impudent request. You want my profound water turtle to stay with the Zhou family." Li Chang'an had already guessed as much. Hearing this, A hint of awkwardness appeared on the three men's faces. The Zhou family was simply in desperate need of a Tier 3 Demon King, and now a perfect candidate was right in front of them. Zhou Sheng's expression was sincere as he spoke again. Taoist Li, after the profound water turtle advances to Tier 3, it would be best for him to cultivate on a Tier 3 spirit vein. Otherwise, his cultivation progress will be slowed. Your Chang'an mountain spirit vein is only Tier 2. It's no matter. I can use a spirit gathering array to aid his cultivation. Li Chang'an's expression was calm. He held the upper hand firmly. The three had no doubt about his array skill, especially since he had so easily seized control of the Zhou family's Tier 3 grand array. Taoist Li, we don't intend for the profound water turtle to stay with the Zhou family forever. We just want to borrow him for a period of time. That's right, the profound water turtle will still be your spirit beast. The three men chimed in one after another. They could all see that Li Chang'an was waiting for them to offer better terms. Taoist Li, the profound water turtle would only need to show himself occasionally, just enough to let outsiders know that our Zhou family still has a Tier 3 Demon King. If you need him, you can call him back at any time. We will use all our resources to help the profound water turtle progress smoothly on his Tier 3 path. Their sincerity was palpable as they continued to propose various conditions. In summary, the profound water turtle would essentially be a temporary resident of the Zhou family, borrowing their Tier 3 spirit vein and resources to cultivate. In return, the Zhou family could borrow the profound water turtle's power to deter enemies who were eyeing them covetously. It was a mutually beneficial arrangement. Taoist Li, what do you think? I have no objections. Li Chang'an patted the profound water turtle's head. Ziohai, what do you think? The profound water turtle nodded as well, indicating that he had no problem with the arrangement. If he became a Tier 3 demon beast, he would indeed need a better spirit vein to cultivate. He couldn't rely on a spirit gathering array all the time. Seeing this, Zhou Sheng and the other two patriarchs were overjoyed. Zhou Sheng even suggested that Li Chang'an move to the Zhou family's estate as well. But Li Chang'an refused. He had no desire to be tied down to the Zhou family. After the negotiations concluded, Zhou Sheng went out to appease the numerous Zhou clan members. He didn't directly explain how the Water Abyss Turtle King would be dealt with, only telling them to wait for news. Afterward, everyone returned to the Zhou clan territory together. After this calamity, the Zhou family's overall strength had declined significantly, but their unity had grown much stronger. In a secret chamber deep within the Zhou clan territory, where the spiritual power of the spirit vein was most concentrated, Li Chang'an released the Water Abyss Turtle King from his spirit beast bag. An unsettling premonition rose in the Water Abyss Turtle King's heart. He roared, Li Chang'an, what are you trying to do? Li Chang'an ignored him, merely patting the profound water turtle's head. Ziohei, go on, devour him. The profound water turtle had been waiting for this moment. He conveyed a sense of excitement and lunged forward without hesitation. In just a few moments, the agonized screams of the Water Abyss Turtle King echoed from within the secret chamber. And just like that, the bloody changing of the guard, from the old king to the new, was underway. Chapter 449, Chapter 252, Successive Breakthroughs 2 at Tier 3. The secret chamber was thick with the smell of blood. The Water Abyss Turtle King had vanished. Everything, from its flesh and blood to its very bones, had been devoured by the profound water turtle. A Tier 2 devouring a Tier 3. For the profound water turtle, this was a heaven-sent opportunity. Moreover, he was thrilled to discover a pouch in the Water Abyss Turtle King's stomach, containing a large number of unabsorbed water element treasures. Now, all these treasures had become the foundation for its breakthrough. How much longer will it need to absorb everything? Li Chang'an asked. The profound water turtle quickly gave him a precise answer. Half a year. In half a year, it would attempt to break through to the Tier 3 Demon King realm on the Zhou family's spirit vein. Half a year, that's not long at all. It'll pass in the blink of an eye. Li Chang'an put away the profound water turtle, left the secret chamber, and took his leave from Zhou Sheng and the others. Not long after, he left the Zhou clan territory, transforming into a streak of light as he returned to Chang'an Mountain. Zhou Sheng and the others watched his departing figure, their expressions complicated. Do you think Taoist Li can reach the core formation stage? He only has a low-grade spirit root. Logically, it should be impossible, but... Everyone looked at each other, uncertain. It was just that the power Li Chang'an had displayed was simply too astonishing. In the face of such power, the concept of a spiritual root seemed like a joke. Zhou Yunqiao said firmly, Elder Li will definitely reach core formation and become a legend in the Zhao country cultivation immortality realm, the likes of which hasn't been seen in 1,000 years. Zhou Sheng glanced at her, lost in thought. Yunqiao, would you like to return to Chang'an Mountain? I... Zhou Yunqiao froze for a moment, and a blush suddenly crept onto her pretty face. Zhou Sheng didn't wait for her answer, smiling as he said, the next time Taoist Li visits, I'll help you ask if they're in need of any maids on Chang'an Mountain. Hearing this, the blush on Zhou Yunqiao's face instantly deepened, and she shyly ran off. Zhou Yian and the others exchanged a look and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Chang'an Mountain. Li Chang'an returned to his cave abode and continued his cultivation. In the days that followed, he frequently traveled to Yellow Crane Immortal City and the black market to purchase large quantities of water element treasures, bolstering the profound water turtle's foundation. Although most of the treasures had little effect, it was better than nothing. After all, this was a breakthrough to Tier 3. Li Chang'an had to be fully prepared. Before he knew it, half a year was nearly over. On this day, Li Chang'an once again changed his identity and headed to the black market. Luo Beidong suddenly sought him out to tell him something. Taoist Li, have you heard of a Jiang Lin? Jiang Lin. Li Chang'an thought for a moment, and a distant memory surfaced. After Jiang Yunsheng went into seclusion, he had a son with that mortal blind woman. The son was named Jiang Lin and possessed the talent of a top-grade spirit root. Jiang Yunsheng's son. Yes, that's him. What happened to him? A few days ago, he suddenly obtained a poison Dao treasure and is now being hunted by cultivators from the 5 poison wanderer lineage. He had no choice but to hide in the black market and hasn't dared to leave. He entrusted me with seeking help from an old friend of his father, Jiang Yunsheng. Luo Beidong explained the situation in detail. An old friend of Jiang Yunsheng. Besides the cultivators of the Huang Alliance, that meant Li Chang'an. But the Huang Alliance had recently mobilized all its members to explore those ancient sect ruins, and had yet to return. So he could only turn to Li Chang'an. After listening, Li Chang'an pondered for a moment. Calculating the time, his father, Jiang Yunsheng, should still be alive. Why didn't Jiang Lin look for him? Jiang Lin said his father is devoted to his seclusion and unwilling to set foot in the cultivation realm again. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, he didn't want to seek him out. I see, take me to him. Of course, Taoist Li, please follow me. Luo Beidong immediately turned and led the way. Li Chang'an noticed that Luo Beidong's frame was smaller than before. He looked gaunt, his hair had turned gray, and his entire being exuded an aura of twilight. Taoist Luo, you've grown old. Indeed. Luo Beidong sighed deeply. He and Li Chang'an were considered cultivators of the same generation, but he had never reached foundation establishment, and his lifespan was nearly exhausted. This might be one of the last times the two would ever meet. Before long, Luo Beidong led Li Chang'an into a secret room. Inside the secret room was a young cultivator, whose features bore a slight resemblance to Jiang Yunsheng. It was none other than Jiang Yunsheng's son, Jiang Lin. Elder Luo, this is. Jiang Lin stood up, a look of confusion on his face. The face Li Chang'an was currently using was not his Li Fan disguise. Luo Beidong made the introduction. This is the Taoist Li you asked me to find. Uncle Li. Jiang Lin's heart leaped with joy, and he hastily bowed. Junior Jiang Lin greets Uncle Li. When he was very young, his father, Jiang Yunsheng, had told him all about Li Chang'an's great deeds. He had grown up hearing the legends of Li Chang'an. Now he was finally meeting him in person. Li Chang'an looked him over, giving him a casual glance. Qi refining 7th layer. Your cultivation speed is quite fast, and your foundation is solid. Reaching foundation establishment in the future won't be difficult. After all, for someone with a top-grade spirit root, foundation establishment wasn't a major hurdle. Core formation was the real challenge. He asked casually, Jiang Lin, how are your parents? Thank you for your concern, Uncle Li. My parents are both in good health. Jiang Lin spoke respectfully about his family's mortal affairs. After a moment, Li Chang'an asked about his feud with the 5 poison wanderer lineage. Yang Lin immediately took a treasure out of his storage pouch. Uncle Li, I found this poison Dao treasure in the Thousand Lakes secret realm. Unfortunately, a few disciples from the 5 poison wanderer lineage saw me, and I had to flee to the black market to save my life. The instant the treasure appeared, the 10,000 poison goo in Li Chang'an's sleeve immediately conveyed a feeling of intense craving. This came as a surprise to him. The 10,000 poison goo was already a Tier 2 peak goo insect. For it to crave something so intensely, could this be a Tier 3 poison treasure? Jiang Lin, do you know what this is? I do not. Jiang Lin shook his head, a puzzled look on his face. Chapter 450, Chapter 252, Successive Breakthroughs 2 Tier 3s. Uncle Li, my knowledge is limited. I can't identify this treasure, nor can I refine it. Hearing this, Li Chang'an observed it carefully for a moment. The object was about the size of a fist and was a deep, dark green. It looked like a jade treasure, but it faintly radiated a bone-chilling aura. Soon, the name of a certain treasure surfaced in his mind. The Cyan Cold Poison Jade. This was an extremely rare Tier 3 top-grade poison Dao treasure. The treasure in Jiang Lin's hand matched the description of the Cyan Cold Poison Jade in every way. However, the books recorded that the formation conditions for the Cyan Cold Poison Jade were incredibly harsh, and they were typically only the size of a grain of rice or a pinky finger. The piece in Jiang Lin's hand, however, was astonishingly large. The 10,000 poison goo desires it so strongly. It must be the Cyan Cold Poison Jade. A piece this large might be enough for it to break through to Tier 3, Li Chang'an mused to himself. After a moment he said in a low voice, "How about you sell this to me?" Jiang Lin quickly replied, "Uncle Li, this is a poison Dao treasure. It's useless to me. If you can use it, please just take it." "No, I can't take advantage of a junior like you." As he spoke with a flick of his will, 2 beams of spiritual light shot out from his storage pouch and flew before Jiang Lin. They were a Foundation Establishment pill and a top-grade Foundation Establishment spiritual object. Upon seeing these 2 treasures, an ecstatic expression immediately appeared on Jiang Lin's face. Though talented, he was just a loose cultivator and had yet to obtain a Foundation Establishment pill or any Foundation Establishment spiritual objects. With these 2 treasures, his path to Foundation Establishment would be much smoother. Li Chang'an said coolly, "Take them. What are you waiting for?" "Thank you, Uncle Li." Overjoyed, Jiang Lin immediately accepted the 2 treasures and bowed deeply to Li Chang'an once more. Li Chang'an tossed the Cyan Cold Poison Jade into his storage pouch, deciding not to feed it to the 10,000 poison goo just yet. "Come on, follow me outside. We'll take care of those disciples from the 5 poison wanderer lineage." "Uncle Li, it's a bit complicated." As soon as the matter was brought up, the joyous look on Jiang Lin's face vanished. Originally, only a few Qi refining stage poison cultivators had been hunting him, but after he hid in the black market, more and more poison cultivators from the 5 poison lineage had arrived, seemingly determined to trap him there forever. Among them were even several late-stage Foundation Establishment poison cultivators. Late stage of Foundation Establishment. Li Chang'an wasn't surprised. After the 5 poison wanderer joined the Yin Soul sect, the 5 poison lineage had begun to expand rapidly. Many Yin Soul sect cultivators had switched to practicing poison techniques. It wasn't uncommon for them to be at Foundation Establishment, so a few at the late stage was perfectly normal. Jiang Lin said worriedly, "Uncle Li, even though the 5 poison wanderer isn't here himself, those late-stage Foundation Establishment cultivators won't be easy to deal with. Why don't we wait for Uncle Yi Hao and the others to return?" "There's no need, come with me." With a flash of spiritual light in his hand, a billowing venerable soul banner appeared. Seeing the venerable soul banner, Jiang Lin's eyes filled with reverence. He said no more, immediately falling in line behind Li Chang'an as they exited the hidden chamber. The moment the 2 of them appeared, they were spotted by numerous disciples from the 5 poison lineage. They trailed behind them, each with pupils of green and cruel expressions, like a pack of vipers ready to devour their prey. They followed the pair out of the black market. Jiang Lin had been a little worried, but what happened next was a scene that left him utterly dumbfounded. Whoosh! The soul banner billowed, and an evil soul emerged. In an instant, it had killed every single one of the pursuing 5 poison wanderer lineage cultivators. Even the few at the late stage of Foundation Establishment were no exception. They died so quickly they didn't even realize they were dead. By the time they finally understood what had happened, they were already trapped within the venerable soul banner. All right, find a place to hide for a while. It would be best if you didn't come out until you've reached Foundation establishment. Li Chang'an patted Jiang Lin's shoulder, offering a few words of advice. He put away the venerable soul banner and transformed into a streak of spiritual light, vanishing into the distance. Jiang Lin wanted to follow Li Chang'an, but before he could even speak, Li Chang'an had already vanished over the horizon. Not long after, Li Chang'an returned to Chang'an Mountain. With a flick of his will, he retrieved the cyan cold poison Jade from his storage pouch. The 10,000 poison goo once again conveyed its eager desire. Its plump body crawled out of his sleeve, its small eyes staring intently at the poison Dao treasure. Not so fast. Li Chang'an didn't feed it directly, instead communicating with it for a moment. Regarding its advancement, the little creature indicated that after devouring the entire cyan cold poison Jade, it was highly confident it could advance to Tier 3. To do so, however, it would also be best to find a Tier 3 spirit vein for it. You little fellow, you advance quite quickly, saves me a lot of trouble. Li Chang'an smiled and tossed the cyan cold poison Jade to it. The 10,000 poison goo was overjoyed. It immediately pounced, clutching the Jade treasure and began to gnaw on it. By the time it had completely devoured the poison Jade, Li Chang'an had already arrived at the Zhou clan territory. He greeted Zhou Sheng and the others before heading deep into the Zhou clan territory. He entered a hidden chamber specifically designed for seclusion and placed the 10,000 poison goo inside. At that point, the 10,000 poison goo had completely devoured the poison Jade. Its body looked even plumper, almost swollen into a ball. After a moment, it began to spit out silk threads, slowly weaving an insect cocoon around itself. It's forming a cocoon again. Li Chang'an remembered. The little creature had also formed an insect cocoon when it broke through to Tier 2. He set up a Tier 3 grand array around the hidden chamber to protect the little creature as it advanced. About an hour later, the sky above the Zhou clan territory churned as wind and clouds gathered. An immense amount of heaven and earth spiritual power surged in madly, forming a swirling vortex of spiritual power. Countless Zhou family disciples within the territory raised their heads, staring at the scene in shock. What's going on?